Hey lovies, this is Michelle here at Life Mantra Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I hope all has been well with you guys. For those who have been subscribed for a bit, welcome back. For those who are new subscribers, welcome as well. For those who have never came across my channel and are here supporting, thank you very much for coming by. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, I am available for private readings. If you're interested, all you have to do is check out the description box below, and my contact information is there. So, with all of that said, tonight I wanted us to focus on some shadow work, something that I feel as I'm realizing more and more with the collective, the people who are currently subscribed, I'm realizing that a lot of you guys are more just based on views and everything right now, and like when people do happen to comment and stuff, I'm noticing that there seems to be almost like a very positive trend of the fact that a lot of you guys are more so focusing on your spiritual journey as opposed to love, which is a great thing. I mean, love is a beautiful thing, but sometimes we need to make sure we're well balanced and all of that stuff, and have really healed and worked on ourselves before we could welcome love into our lives, right? We have to learn how to work on ourselves. We have to learn how to love ourselves again. You know, if there was any point in time where you started to falter on that. So I'm noticing based on the views, like I'm not even getting a lot of hits on my page when it comes, or my channel, I should say. I'm still getting used to the lingo. Sorry, guys. I do feel like I've been noticing there's a lot more people watching like the stuff that's a little bit more like deeper messages about, you know, what spirit is trying to guide you towards and things like that, as opposed to trying to find out if your ex is still into you. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing wrong with, you know, wondering about those kind of things at all, but I am noticing that being one of the things that seems to be resonating. So with all that said, tonight, like I said, I wanted us to focus on shadow work. So I already drew a few cards for you guys to kind of see where you're at in your journey right now when it comes to healing and working on your shadow self. So the cards that came out were Masquerade, Queen of My World, and Obsession. So the reason why I pulled out these cards is because there's a lot to tackle with this particular deck. Like, it's a deck where like there's this, it's very I guess you could say wordy, not in a bad way. Just, you know, there's a lot to digest, and I feel like, you know, me as a reader, I want to make sure that I'm not just reading from a book. I want to make sure that I'm able to give you my interpretation of what it means in your circumstances and based on the energy surrounding it, how I'm feeling, what I'm gathering, so on and so forth. So, as far as Masquerade is concerned, I feel like a lot of you guys, like, generally speaking, I think a lot of you guys are having a hard time really embracing and accepting who you are and how you really feel inside, like when it comes to a lot of different things. So like you guys almost like guilt trip yourselves and feel guilty about having feelings, if that makes any sense. So like, let's say if you're mad at somebody, you'll actually turn it around and make it seem like it's your fault. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't feel that way. Like, no, you can accept how you feel. And that's why it's a masquerade, right? You're putting on a facade or a mask so that you're hiding your true feelings and your true self in those moments. And because of that, you know, it's one of those kind of things. By hiding your true emotions and your true feelings behind societal standards, or worrying about what other people are going to think about how you feel, you're really hiding your true self. And that could be detrimental over time, because who are you really living for? Are you living for yourself, or are you living for everybody else and their standards, right? You know, societal standards, you know, they exist for a reason, you know. And it's okay to care about the opinions of others to an extent, but not to your detriment, right? So I feel like Spirit is definitely saying just be mindful of that, because, you know, some of you guys are standing in a different place, or that is like more like past energy for you, where now it's like, you know, you've almost become resentful for having felt the way that you felt in the past with, like, and this might be, you know, coming in right now for some of you, like this is how you're kind of feeling at the moment, where it's like you put on that masquerade for so long, now you're almost like fuck everything and fuck everybody, right? You know, because now you're at that point where you're setting limits, and if you're almost like saying, if you want to be in my world or a part of it, you have to live by these rules, which is not, again, that's not a bad thing. Setting limits is perfectly fine, right? But it could become, again, a detriment. It's all about balance, right? If you're so high strung on the idea and feeling like, oh, I have to make sure that if I, want anybody in my world, or they want to be in my world, they have to live to this and that. That can only become an issue if you make your quote unquote world almost impossible to be inhabited, if that makes any sense. Like if you're setting the bar so high that people can't really even be a part of your world, like that's not a healthy boundary, right? Like setting healthy boundaries is a beautiful thing, right? But it can become a thing where it's like you become so almost, in a way, not, hey, this is shadow work, right? You become so almost self-absorbed to the point where now you're so like, fuck everything and fuck everybody if you don't want to do it this way, that way, like my way or the highway. We all know people who are like that, right? You don't want to become that person. You want to make sure that you're flexible. You want to make sure that you're still welcoming of people around you, because there's a lot of people who might have great energy and you're pushing them away just because of that type of energy, right? Almost to an obsession, as the next card, almost to the point of becoming almost like a possession, because you've been through so much already. Now you're at the point where it's like, okay, well, again, I'm going to protect my energy, but protect myself, and now I'm going to close out everything and everyone who, doesn't flex to or become flexible to fit and mold into the world I've created for myself to protect myself. Almost to the point where it's almost like you're so awoke you're sleep. You know what I mean? Like you've become so, obsessed with what it is that you're protecting, which is in this case yourself. What they call like a defense mechanism, right? It's like, okay, well, again, healthy boundaries are perfectly okay, but don't become obsessed with it to the point where you're like, you know, so protective of yourself that you literally let no one in. Like nobody can have healthy relationships that way at all. Like that's just not realistic or possible. So you end up becoming alone and just very cold and aloof. And it's going to be on your own terms, because you have to be the one to go within yourself and change that. That nobody else can change that for you, right? Like I said, don't be so awoke that you are actually truly asleep. Wake yourself up to the fact that there is a such thing as balance and duality, right? That's extremely important. So I think that with all that said, again, finding like that balance within yourself when it comes to, like, for instance, your spirituality, right? Versus the real world, this 3D world that we live in, right? You could be spiritual and all that, and you learn all these lessons, these karmic lessons and things like that, and still be a warm, welcoming person. You know what I mean? You don't have to be cold and aloof like a Queen of Swords all the time. You can still be the Empress. You can still be the Queen of Pentacles. You can still be the Queen of Cups. You guys all probably watch tarot all the time, so you know what those personality traits are like. But when you're the Queen of Swords, like, all the time, especially in the reverse, and I would not be shocked if it comes up in the reading when we start looking into the tarot. Yeah, that's not where we want to be, right? We want to still be warm and welcoming to others and accept other people, and also accept the fact that, it's okay to feel what we feel and embrace our emotions, but also just know that with it, embracing our emotions also means embracing the things that are happening around us. It's not all about just us. It's okay to be like a a one man or one woman island for a little while you're in that hermit mode and you're working on yourself. But just understand that you have to be enlightened enough to know, I still have to live in this real 3D world that is the world that I'm a part of at this time. I hope that all makes sense and resonates. I hope that I'm not, going off too much. But this is just like the general energy just for the beginning part of this reading already. So with all of that said, we're going to dig into some tarot. I'm not going to make it too crazy because that's already almost 10 minutes worth of our time right now. So if you made it this far, thank you for continuing to watch. I hope that you guys are actually like picking up on the energy and saying, wow, that actually does make sense to me. I'm kind of going through that right now, or have been feeling like that. Wow, like now it makes a lot more sense what it is that Spirit is kind of saying I need to do and work on. Yeah, because you're releasing with the Devil in reverse on the bottom of the deck. You're releasing those old toxic ways, right? And that's good that because you're being that you are working on your shadow self, you know that there's things that still need to be worked on. But you're also, embracing the fact that you have come this far. And that's a good thing, but it's all about balance. All right, Spirit, to clarify this energy for the collective when it comes to what they need to know right now, when it comes to their shadow work. Let's get a 4-card spread with a clarifier. Okay, so we have the moon. You guys are learning how to channel in your intuition more. And there might be fears that also come along with where you are in your journey, right? But you're learning how to release those old burdens. This is like the stronger part of this journey for you right now. Yes, there's still some stuff that you're working out, right? And one of those things is the fact that you are so guarded, right? That's one thing you have to work on still. Amongst other things, obviously. There's always things to constantly work on, right? What else does the collective need to know? Remember, I just said something about still learning how to be giving. The Queen of Pentacles is a very giving and charitable person. Very sweet and kind-hearted person, right? But she's also very stable and grounded. Spirit is saying like they want you to continue to work on that. And also maybe, if you have like a passion that you're creative endeavor that you're I can't get the words out. A creative endeavor that you are very passionate about. They want you to continue to pursue that because it could be something that could become lucrative. But yeah, so I do feel like Spirit is saying like, one of the challenges for you right now is still kind of channeling your intuition, like knowing when people are, bullshitting you and not like by finding that balance between your intuition and paranoia, because those are two different things, right? Intuition is like that gut feeling when you know something's up. Paranoia, that's all in your head. And Spirit is just saying like that is a challenge right now that you still work on because you are so protective of yourself, which is perfectly understandable because you have been through a lot, right? But don't allow your paranoia to get the best of you when it comes to building relationships with people in general, family, friends, romance, etc., within yourself, so on and so forth. Yeah, and let go of fear, because again, you can't live in fear. That's a trauma response. Fear is a trauma response. So you're so afraid of the things that you've already went through in your life that you channel it in a negative way. And that's what Spirit is telling you that you need to continue to work on. But a lot of you have started to release a lot of that. And that's awesome. A lot of you guys have been working on your spirituality and figuring out answers and figuring out ways to work on yourself through the process. And through that, you have been releasing some of those old toxic behaviors and whatnot. But with all that releasing still comes more learned lessons that have to be applied, right? So it doesn't happen overnight. Everybody's situation is going to be different, so take it as it resonates. You guys know your story and your situations better than I do, especially because this is a collective reading, so everybody's going through different things at this time. But one of the things that Spirit does want you guys to still work on is boundaries, right? Healthy boundaries. You can't always be so hyper vigilant about how you tackle relationships and accepting people into your life. You can't always be so on guard. Being guarded versus being protective, those are kind of different, right? Guarded is like, oh, I'm gonna just put up a whole fence, barbed wire fence with a freaking electric fence around it, and you know what I mean? Like, that's not necessarily healthy. But being able to be mindful and intuitive about those in your energy and setting an example by showing who you are and how you treat yourself. That's how people are going to treat you. I've been learning that. And even now I still have a hard time with that. That's one of the things I'm learning. So it's like, if you're always overgiving and overextending and things like that, that's how people are going to perceive you. They're going to be like, oh, well, they just give anyway. So what's the problem, right? They're not going to know how to turn that off because they're going to be so used to taking from you. So there's nothing wrong with giving, right? That's why the Queen of Pentacles is there. But boundaries need to be set, right? Just make sure that they're healthy boundaries. And Spirit is basically saying, for you guys, like, the advice is going to be, continue to work on understanding that it's okay to still be a charitable and giving person. Like, that's almost like Six of Pentacles energy, right? Generosity and all of that, gratitude, etc. Being just a kind-hearted, giving person is not a bad thing, but there's a difference between being kind and being, quite frankly, silly. I was gonna say stupid. We all have had our moments. That's a little heavy though to use the word stupid, but we all have had our moments, and that's kind of why a lot of us are here. It's because we're still learning how to set healthy boundaries, right? So, with that said, let's get a one card clarifier on some of these. Spirit, clarify the moon. Yeah, the Hermit. You guys are digging deep. This is all about shadow work, right? Introspection, understanding where fears come from, like our trauma responses and things along those lines. Like, where do they come from? That's what you guys are working on right now. And that's a great thing. And that's the challenge, right? And it's not an easy place, because a lot of times that stuff stems from childhood. It goes really far back. So it's for a lot of us. So it's like, sometimes it's a mental thing, sometimes it's an emotional thing, sometimes it's from childhood. I mean, it could be coming from so many different angles. And so for some of us, it's even deeper than that. It comes from so many different sides of things, abusive relationships, so on and so forth. It gets deep. And that's why that Hermit mode is so important at this time. Clarify, Ten of Wands in reverse. So Spirit is saying, with this Page of Pentacles in the reverse, I feel like they're saying that at this time, I'm reading this intuitively right now. I feel like they're saying that you guys are still working on, or have started to work on, things that stem from the childhood. Putting in that effort into that. Are you completely there yet? No. But it is yeah. Four of Wands at the top of the deck. Like, that's definitely about, like, yeah, and you guys are still holding on to some of that stuff from the past. So it's like you started to unload that, right? And you're starting to put in that work, but there's still stuff that needs to be done with that. Clarify, Seven of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, it's a lot to unload though, you know what I mean? Just make sure that you're not carrying around baggage. I recently heard of a quote, I'm going to paraphrase it, but recently I heard of a quote. It said something about everybody has luggage, but don't let it become your baggage. And I was like, wow, that's very interesting. We all have things that need to be quote unquote unpacked, all of us. So when you meet people in your life, romantic partners, friends, etc., one of the things that the people in our lives are going to do, whatever role they play in our life, they're going, if they're positive people in your life, they're going to be somebody who's going to play the role of helping you quote unquote unpack some of your issues. They shouldn't be responsible for holding it for you, but unpacking it and helping you along the way of your journey is very, very crucial. It's your journey and your journey alone, but when relationships are healthy and reciprocal, it's something that you're able to do together. And that's very important, to be able to have those type of friendships and relationships in your life. Yeah, just don't let it become baggage, because that's heavy, right? Luggage, you could wheel it around, you know what I mean? It's still with you. It still needs to be unpacked, but it's not as heavy, right? It's a lot more movable than a bag that's very heavy, that's weighing you down. I thought that quote was very cool and was very meaningful. Again, Spirit, clarify, Seven of Wands in reverse. Yes, look at that. As you allow yourself to put your guard down, Spirit is saying that you welcome all of those new beginnings when it comes to relationships, everything. There's just like this big surmountable wealth that comes towards you in a positive way, where it's like, it's not just the money, it's not just love, it's like a little bit of everything, right? Spirit is going to reward you for putting in the effort that you need to be putting in, and allowing yourself to welcome people into your life and open up to different relationships and things of the like, because this is what's waiting for you on the other side of all of this. You just have to actually be willing to do it. You know, if you hold back on, you know, everything all the time, you're not doing yourself any favors. You know, you can't be afraid all the time. You can't, you know what I mean? Again, that's a trauma response, right? We're trying to get out of that. So by learning the importance of releasing those old burdens, especially things that stem from our childhood, and accepting the fact that, you know, not everybody is here to hurt you. There are people who want to actually help you and be generous to you the same way you've been generous to everybody else. That's what people want to give to you as well, if you're willing to accept that into your life. And God's going to put people, or the higher power, whatever word you would like to use, the higher power is going to put people into your life and situations into your life that is going to allow you to grow and blossom. And those things are going to be reciprocal, and it's going to make you feel good, and you'll be able to help others feel good in the process, right? You're not going to just be doing it alone, but you got to get out of the idea of feeling like you're in your own world and you're this one man or one woman island by yourself and that lone wolf, all that. Like, no. You know what I mean? You have to be willing to welcome other people and other things into your world. Clarify Queen of Pentacles and Eight of Pentacles. Thank you. Yeah. Spirit is definitely saying that as you continue to work on this, yeah, this is the energy you need to be in. Still be giving and charitable and all of that, or else you're going to keep yourself stuck. You got to move on. Everything that's happened in your life, those were all lessons that needed to be learned, and now you get to move forward from that, right? Spirit, what's like one of the biggest blockages right now for the collective when it comes to this? Thank you. Overall stability, I guess, is one of them. Perhaps with it coming out crossing like that, I almost feel like Spirit is saying, like, perhaps you guys were very grounded and stable and stuff, and somebody shook your world up financially and took from you in that way, right? You probably had it all, and then someone came in and messed it up. But the thing is, like, you have to still learn how to trust. Just learn how to trust the right people, right? Don't become distrusting. Just understand that there's certain people that have not earned it, and that's where, you know, creating and setting realistic / healthy boundaries comes in, right? Yeah, because there are probably people who were very manipulative with this Magician in the reverse. Yeah. So you just have to make sure that you're strong enough to, you know, and wise enough to get the lesson and set those boundaries, but not overly strong. Because there is a such thing, you know, especially, okay, let's be honest. If a lot of you are women, I'm sure, right? That whole, oh, I'm an independent woman. Like, that shit only gets you so far. You know what I mean? Eventually you have to be like, okay, yes, I'm independent, but at the same time, I know that I have my limitations too. And that doesn't make me weak. That in and of itself is a strength right there to be able to say that, right? Yeah, and that'll help you get out of any hardships that you've been in, whether it's abandonment issues with the Five of Pentacles in the reverse here, whether it's abandonment issues, financial loss, so on and so forth. You can get out of that by learning that, again, it's okay to be giving and understand reciprocity and all of that, right? Wow, this is a very deep reading, and I knew it was going to be deep, but I'm very, very, very appreciative of the fact that this is as deep as it is, because this really allows us to digest a lot of stuff here. So I also want us to look into, because this is shadow work, right? But with embracing our shadow also comes embracing our light, right? With the dark comes the light. And they have to coexist, you know. You can't have one and not the other. So on the bottom of the deck we have language of light, rediscovery, humble wanderer, communication. So I'm picking up on the fact that you're kind of learning again how to, or Spirit at least wants you to work again on knowing that it's okay to give and receive, right? That balance. You know how she, like, you see in the picture, she's hugging herself. You know, that warm embrace. You could give yourself that, you could give that to others too. It's not just, you know, language, keep in mind language, right? It's a two-way kind of thing. You know, you can talk to yourself. I talk to myself all the time. But what I'm saying is, like, Language is a two-way street, right? So are relationships, or at least they're supposed to be. So as you understand how to communicate properly and set your boundaries and whatnot, and learn how to give into the right connections, you're gonna get that back, in the same way, aka reciprocity. Okay, Spirit, what else does the collective need and always see for their highest good when it comes to working on their shadow work and their light work? We've got the same card. Can't make this shit up. Wow. For those who don't believe in tarot, I'm like, man, listen, what the hell are the odds that that card was on the bottom of the deck and came right back out as the first card from this deck when I shuffled it again? Yeah. I saw this one too when I was splitting the deck. Tibetan Fire Serpent, giving me fire energy. And 333, I mean 333, that's about finding like balance, because it's a derivative of 6, or 6 technically is a derivative of 3, but so on and so forth. Seeking a higher truth, discernment, thank you for the clarification. A better path, authority. Yeah, you're learning how to use your discernment and see the truth in situations, things and people around you, in order to open up a path that allows you to be authoritative in your life, but also allows you to be opening and welcome, right? One more. Or two. Cathedral of Light, stubborn attitudes, extending the olive branch in artistry. And Celestial Channel, hidden beauty, remaining optimistic, staying neutral. Yeah, that neutral is balance, right? We just talked about that. So yeah, you gotta not be so stubborn about allowing yourself to open up and accept people into your life. There are people in your life who probably really want to be a part of it, and you're holding off on it because of the things you've been through. Top of the deck, Cosmic Gateway, insecurities, connection with others, refocusing. Yeah, exactly. We just talked about all of this. Galactic vibration, personal conviction, raising your resilience, direct channel, middle, crystal kingdom, slowing down, materialism. I said something about that a little bit. Talking about like the 3D, right? And psychic debris. Interesting. Yeah. If you look here, it's like she's giving birth to a new version of herself by getting this enlightenment when you look at the picture, right? She's healing. She's really focusing on herself. She's understanding the messages that are being sent to her, especially when it comes to this 3D world and how to balance out the 3D versus the 5D and those messages that we receive from the higher power, right? Which can be very difficult sometimes. Very difficult. How are we looking on time? Oh, we're doing pretty good. Of course, I don't want to make it overly long, just long enough to really get the point across. Alright, so bottom of the deck of this deck, we have the Cosmic Heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. Nice. Basically, it's the same, keep staying the course, and the things that you're working on and the path that you're trying to, set forth for yourself will come together. You just gotta stay devoted to it. Whatever that entails for you. Everybody's situation is different on that. Okay, so we have a new earth that's happening. Keep holding the vision. We the Hawthors, deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. I just said giving birth to something new, like a new version of yourself. Yeah. Learning how to love yourself, right? But also welcoming love from other people, right? Wow. Nurturing relationships. Allowing relationships to nurture you. Wow. We have You're not alone. Isolation, physical connection, community. You know, while you're in this isolation, right? This mentality of, oh, I'm like this one woman or one man island, you know. There are people who want to make physical connections with you and want to be a part of your world. You just have to be willing to welcome them in. Top of the deck, we have the Cosmic Heart, Devotion, Potency, Make Your Life a Living Prayer came out again. Star Bathing, Light Body, Crystal Grid, Transmission, Activation. So maybe do a spiritual bath. And I knew this was going to come up because I just felt it. The Great Severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. Exactly. A lot of this stems from things that you've been through in the past that you're still healing from and that still hurts you. And you're like, fuck, how do I allow people in? Nope, fuck everybody. I'm not going to do it. You know, I'm going to be tough as a rock and I'm just not going to let anybody into my world. And that's just not the way to live. It just isn't. All right, so let's see what else we got. What am I drawn to? All right, I'm gonna put maybe 2 more decks after this one. Bottom of the deck, surrender, defensiveness. Defensiveness is a sign of weakness. I just said this. To communicate in a more empowered way, stay centered and hear someone out. Then offer a clear, non-defensive response. Spirit, can we get one message for the collective when it comes to something that they can surrender on this part of their journey? I mean, I feel like that was the card, but let's see what else they have to say. It'd be funny if it's the same one. Surrender your ego. Cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. Love it. All right, let's see. Path of least resistance. When all doors seem to be closed, it is because you have not tried to open the correct one just yet. Spirit, can we get one clear message from this deck for this part of the collective's journey? We have collective consciousness. You may be feeling overwhelmed by all of the energetic shifts. It is time to focus on peace and love for all. And on the bottom of the deck, we have victim mentality before I put this away. You're learning to understand that everything happens through you, not to you. I like that. Let's see. Shooting star. Like, every time I see this card, it makes me happy. You're a shooting star. You're about to step into your fullest potential. Spirit, can we get another very clear message from this deck for this part of the collective's journey? Okay, we got 3. Core values. Follow your heart and make your values a priority. Empath. I had a feeling that card was going to come out. You may be confusing other people's energy with your own. Yes. And that's where it's hard because you're a giving person and then you give to people who don't necessarily deserve it. And it's hard to figure out who's worth it. And that's why your core values are so important. The magic touch. You are accessing the true magic within. Like it a lot. On On the bottom of the deck, you had old habits. An old habit may be keeping you from moving forward. Whatever that is for you. Everybody's situation is different. Let's see. Just gonna close it out, but one more card from another deck, and then secrets revealed. Spirit, one more message from this deck, and then we'll close it out with some words of encouragement. Rage. Yeah, see, you guys are angry, man. Let it go. It's hard, but you gotta let it go, okay? Yeah, fearless love. You guys are afraid of love. But Spirit is saying, don't fear it, you know? Embrace it in whatever form it comes in. I saw a lot of, 2 + 5 is 7. I saw a lot of 7s on here. Yeah, there's a few. And then we have divine lineage. So you guys come from a divine lineage. Very cool. Grief. So it's like, yeah, it's okay to let go of the things that no longer serve you, you know, even if it's old parts of yourself. And it is going to be a grieving process because you're literally letting go of who you thought you really were, right? And that's hard, you know what I mean? The spiritual journey is something, man, because you literally sometimes have to learn to let go of parts of who you are. And then you're like, fuck, well, who am I? You become a whole new person, you know? Where you're like, I don't even know who I truly am anymore. That makes it hard as hell. I am presence, light body activation, accessing the divine within. Let's get one message from this one, then we'll do the words of encouragement for the collective. Sorry for all of this. I just feel like Spirit has other things to say, and I want to make sure I, give you the messages that y'all need to see and hear. Stargate heart chakra opening, unblocking generosity. Wow, we just talked about all of that, but it was in the reverse. Why? Because this is what you guys are working on. You can't make this shit up, bro. Wow. Wow. This is crazy as hell. Okay, so now we're gonna finally close this out with words of encouragement for you guys. Words of encouragement and wisdom. I love this deck. Freedom. You're freeing yourself. You're soaring above it all. I love it. Spirit, can I get maybe 3 messages or 4 for the collective to close out this reading? What do they need to know at this time to end this reading? Be funny if freedom comes right back out. Wouldn't be shocked at all. Patience. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with other people. Power. You hold the power to change all of this around. It's all within you. And I see these thunderstorms. It's giving me like that rage vibe, right? Like, you're a powerful being, right? But don't use your power in a negative way. Like by casting people out and things like that. Unless warranted, of course. But, yeah. Use your power to be able to, assess the situations properly and then go from there and voyage. But this is all a part of your journey, right? And then it's interesting because there's a whale here, and then there's like a little baby whale underneath that whale. It's like you're carrying, like, part of this journey is you're carrying the baby version of yourself, Maybe you gotta have a talk with your child self. I might do a reading about that soon too. Messages from your child self, the little mini you that might still hold on to a lot of things from the past that you haven't fully healed from and that you're still addressing. Diligence. Community. So we got more than one card about community here. There's people around you who are trying to be a part of your your family, you know, your soul tribe. Let people in. You know, they might lead you somewhere very, very beautiful and vice versa. Middle of the deck, leadership. Again, leadership, community. People might be leading you. You might be leading others. Collective effort when it comes to that. Reciprocity. So, with all of this said, my loves, if you made it through this 40-minute long video, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this and it resonated with you, like, share, and subscribe. I really, really hope that you guys continue to work on this path that you're on and continue doing the hard work and showing that diligence, because there's something definitely beautiful waiting for you guys on the other side of all of this. And keep in mind, it's a process. You know, be patient with yourself, and just keep on moving, keep on glowing, keep on growing, right, through all of it. And just understand that it's important to still be able to let people in. You know, you don't have to be a one woman or one man island while you go through what you're going through. It is okay to still be a giving, sweet person. Don't let anybody take that away from who you truly are, because that is a part of your personality trait. Don't let anybody deter you from who you truly are, especially not an asshole or a bitch who, you know, took away or you felt took away, you know, like that part of you. Like, no, you still have it in you to be that person, you know. Just be mindful of who you give that part of yourself to. So thank you again for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. If you guys are interested in a private reading that might dig a lot deeper into this stuff than just a general reading, please check out the description box and contact me. So yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for the support, and until next time, bye.